Did you know a simple deficiency could increase your cancer risk? Let's explore the deep connection between vitamin D and your health. In this video, we'll discuss the link between vitamin D and cancer, break down the science, and share 6 powerful foods to naturally boost your levels. He claimed that vitamin D deficiency can lead to cancer, and the suggestion that 6 foods can provide this vitamin warrant a detailed analysis. Below is an in-depth exploration of the relationship between vitamin D deficiency and cancer, the role of vitamin D in health, and the foods that are natural sources of vitamin D. The response will also address the scientific evidence, limitations, and practical considerations. Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin critical for bone health, immune function, and cellular processes. It is primarily synthesized in the skin upon exposure to UVB sunlight and can also be obtained from certain foods and supplements. Deficiency in vitamin D has been associated with various health issues, including a potential increased risk of certain cancers. Scientific evidence linking vitamin D deficiency to cancer. Biological mechanisms. Vitamin D regulates cell growth, differentiation, and apoptosis, programmed cell death. It interacts with the vitamin D receptor, VDR, in cells to influence gene expression, potentially inhibiting uncontrolled cell proliferation, a hallmark of cancer. Deficiency may impair these protective mechanisms. Epidemiological studies. Colorectal cancer. Observational studies have consistently shown that low serum levels of 25-hydroxyvitamin D, the primary circulating form of vitamin D, are associated with a higher risk of colorectal cancer. A 2019 meta-analysis in The Lancet found that higher vitamin D levels were linked to a reduced risk of colorectal cancer. Breast cancer. Some studies suggest an inverse relationship between vitamin D levels and breast cancer risk, particularly in postmenopausal women. However, results are less consistent than for colorectal cancer. Prostate cancer. The evidence is mixed, with some studies showing no clear association between vitamin D deficiency and prostate cancer risk. Other cancers. Associations have been explored for pancreatic, ovarian, and lung cancers, but the evidence is less robust and often inconsistent. Clinical trials, randomized controlled trials, RCTS, on vitamin D supplementation and cancer prevention have yielded mixed results. For example, the vitamin D and omega-3 trial, VITAL 2018, found that vitamin D supplementation, 2000 IU per day, did not significantly reduce overall cancer incidence but showed a trend toward reduced cancer mortality. A 2020 study in JAMA Oncology suggested that vitamin D supplementation might reduce the risk of advanced, metastatic, or fatal cancers, particularly in individuals with normal body weight. Causation versus correlation. While observational studies show an association between low vitamin D levels and cancer risk, they do not prove causation. Low vitamin D levels could be a consequence of poor health or cancer itself rather than a cause. Confounding factors. Lifestyle factors, e.g., obesity, smoking, diet, and socioeconomic status often correlate with both vitamin D deficiency and cancer risk, complicating the interpretation of studies. Optimal levels. There is no universal consensus on the optimal serum 25-OHD level for cancer prevention. The Institute of Medicine, IOM, suggests 20 nanograms per milliliter, 50 nanomoles per liter for bone health, but some researchers advocate for higher levels, 30 to 50 nanograms per milliliter, for potential anti-cancer effects. Supplementation risks. Excessive vitamin D intake can lead to toxicity, causing hypercalcemia, kidney stones, or other complications. Vitamin D deficiency may increase the risk of certain cancers, particularly colorectal cancer, due to its role in regulating cell growth and immune function. However, the evidence is not definitive, and supplementation's benefits for cancer prevention remain under investigation. Maintaining adequate vitamin D levels through diet, sunlight, or supplements is prudent, but it should not be viewed as a guaranteed cancer preventive. Dietary sources of vitamin D are limited compared to sunlight exposure or supplements, but certain foods can contribute significantly to vitamin D intake. Below are 6 foods commonly recognized as natural or fortified sources of vitamin D, along with their approximate vitamin D content and practical considerations. Vitamin D content: wild-caught salmon, 3.5 ounces per 100 grams, approximately 600 to 1,000 international units, 15 to 25 micrograms. Farmed salmon, 3.5 ounces per 100 grams, approximately 400 to 700 international units, 10 to 17 micrograms, Oz per 100 g, approximately 250 to 450 IU, 6 to 11 micrograms. Mackerel, 3.5 ounces per 100 grams, 400 IU, 10 micrograms. Sardines, canned, 3.5 ounces per 100 grams, 270 IU, 7 micrograms. Benefits: fatty fish are among the richest natural sources of vitamin D3. Cholecalciferol, the most bioavailable form. They also provide omega-3 fatty acids, which support heart and brain health. Considerations: wild-caught fish generally have higher vitamin D content than farmed varieties. However, fish like mackerel and sardines may contain mercury, so consumption should be moderated, especially for pregnant women or children. Vitamin D content: 1 tablespoon, 15 milliliters, approximately 1,300 international units, 33 micrograms. Benefits: cod liver oil is an exceptionally potent source of vitamin D3 and also provides vitamin A and omega-3s. It's available as a liquid or in capsules. Considerations: the high vitamin A content can be toxic in large doses, so cod liver oil should be consumed in moderation. It may not be palatable for everyone due to its strong taste. Vitamin D content: 1 large egg yolk, approximately 40 international units, 1 microgram. Benefits: egg yolks are a convenient and versatile source of vitamin D3, along with protein, choline, and healthy fats. Considerations: the vitamin D content is relatively low, so eggs alone cannot meet daily needs. Chickens raised with access to sunlight or fed vitamin D-enriched feed produce yolks with slightly higher vitamin D levels. Vitamin D content: fortified milk, 1 cup, 240 milliliters, approximately 100 to 120 international units, 2.5 to 3 micrograms. Fortified yogurt, 6 ounces. Oz per 170 grams is approximately 80 to 100 IU per 2 to 2.5 micrograms. Benefits: fortified dairy products are widely available and contribute to both vitamin D and calcium intake, supporting bone health. Considerations: fortification levels vary by country and brand. Non-dairy alternatives, e.g. soy or almond milk, may also be fortified but should be checked for vitamin D content. Lactose-intolerant individuals may need to seek alternatives. Vitamin D content: 1 cup, 240 milliliters, approximately 100 IU, 2.5 micrograms. Benefits: fortified orange juice provides vitamin D2, ergocalciferol, and is a good option for those who avoid dairy or fish. It also supplies vitamin C. Considerations: vitamin D2 is less effective at raising serum 25-OHD levels than D3. Additionally, orange juice can be high in sugar, so it should be consumed in moderation. Vitamin D content: wild maytake or chanterelle, 3.5 ounces per 100 grams, approximately 100 to 500 international units, 2.5 to 12.5 micrograms. UV-exposed button mushrooms, 3.5 ounces. Oz per 100 grams is approximately 400 to 800 international units, or 10 to 20 micrograms. Benefits: mushrooms are one of the few plant-based sources of vitamin D2. When exposed to UVB light, they can produce significant amounts of vitamin D, comparable to D3 in bioavailability. Considerations: the vitamin D content varies widely, depending on the mushroom type and UV exposure. Commercial mushrooms not exposed to UV light, as in many grocery stores, have negligible vitamin D. Recommended dietary allowance, RDA. The IOM recommends 600 IU, 15 micrograms per day, For adults up to age 70 and 800 IU, 20 micrograms for those over 70. Some experts suggest 1,000 to 2,000 international units per day for optimal health, particularly for cancer prevention. Dietary limitations. Most people cannot meet the RDA through food alone, as natural sources are limited and fortification is not universal. For example, consuming 600 IU from food might require eating 3.5 ounces of salmon daily, which is impractical for many. Sunlight exposure. 5 to 30 minutes of midday sun exposure, depending on skin tone, latitude, and season, can generate 1,000 to 10,000 IU of vitamin D in the skin. However, factors like sunscreen use, darker skin, and living in northern latitudes reduce synthesis. Supplements. Vitamin D. 3 supplements are often recommended for those at risk of deficiency, especially in winter months, or for individuals with limited sun exposure. Doses typically range from 1,000 to 4,000 IU per day, but medical advice should be sought to avoid toxicity. Testing. A blood test for 25 OD levels can determine deficiency. Levels below 20 nanograms per milliliter indicate deficiency. 20 to 30 nanograms per milliliter is insufficient, and 30 to 50 nanograms per milliliter is generally considered optimal. Vitamin D deficiency can lead to cancer. This statement is partially supported by evidence, particularly for colorectal cancer, but it oversimplifies a complex relationship. Deficiency is a risk factor, not a direct cause, and other factors, genetics, lifestyle, play significant roles. 6 foods can provide this vitamin. The listed foods: fatty fish, cod liver oil, egg yolks, fortified dairy, fortified orange juice, and mushrooms, are valid sources, but their contribution to daily needs is often insufficient without supplementation or sunlight exposure. The effectiveness of these foods depends on preparation, portion size, and individual dietary habits. Dietary strategy. Incorporate vitamin D-rich foods regularly, such as fatty fish 2 to 3 times per week, fortified dairy or juice daily, and UV-exposed mushrooms when possible. Egg yolks and cod liver oil can supplement intake but are less impactful. Sunlight. Aim for safe, moderate sun exposure when feasible, balancing vitamin D synthesis with skin cancer risk. Supplements. Consider vitamin D3 supplements, especially in winter or for high-risk groups, e.g., older adults, individuals with darker skin, or those with limited sun exposure. Consult a healthcare provider for personalized dosing. Monitoring. If concerned about deficiency or cancer risk, request a 25-OHD blood test and discuss results with a doctor. Holistic approach. Vitamin D is one piece of the puzzle. A balanced diet, regular exercise, avoiding smoking, and routine cancer screenings are equally important for cancer prevention. Vitamin D deficiency is plausibly linked to an increased risk of certain cancers, particularly colorectal cancer, due to its role in cellular regulation. However, the evidence is not conclusive, and supplementation's benefits for cancer prevention are still under study. The 6 foods highlighted: fatty fish, cod liver oil, egg yolks, fortified dairy, fortified orange juice, and mushrooms, are valuable sources of vitamin D, but are often insufficient to meet daily needs without sunlight or supplements. For optimal health, combine dietary sources with safe sun exposure, and, if necessary, supplementation under medical guidance. Always consult a healthcare provider for personalized advice, especially regarding cancer risk or vitamin D status. Thanks for watching. If this helped you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.